2007 when things in the mortgage industry collapsed, because everybody was trying to get those loan fees, upfront loan fees, to get those short-term profits, impress Wall Street, and it was that kind of greed just turned on itself, or as Shakespeare said in Troilus and Cressida, he had one of his characters say, "Appetite, a universal wolf, at last eats up himself," and that's what happened when we saw Lehman Brothers disappear. I had a front row seat to see that, and some of the same things are coming back to say, well, we don't need all these regulations and so on. Well, I happen to be, and I don't know if I will continue to be, but right now I am very much a fan of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And right now they are putting the industry under scrutiny. And let's hope that at the same time, though Richard Cordray and his folks have the wisdom to listen to what the veterans in the mortgage industry are telling them about what regulations really help and which ones are nothing but a distraction that ends up causing consumers money instead of protecting them. I'll probably have some people, if I continue to do this show, I'll probably have some people on to talk about that, some loan brokers or lenders, some of the people that, in the vendors that serve the industry. And I have more to say about that because I do think about that a lot. And I'll try to make it interesting enough so that other people would. That typically wouldn't be true. One time somebody asked me, "Oh, you're a writer. What do you write about?" And I said, "Mortgage technology." And this woman said, "Oh, well, that sounds very interesting." I said, "Well, most people don't think so." She says, "No, really, what's that all about?" And I started telling her, well, what a loan origination software system was. And she listened to that for about 20, 30 seconds. And since it's, excuse me, I have to write, but you seem very interested in that. And now a lot of this is very vitally connected to whether the the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is going to work, if it's going to survive. Technology is much related to that, and that means that it's going to affect that question about what's the economy good for? What is the mortgage industry good for? What should people know that they may not be upfront really interested in knowing, but know because it affects their livelihood and their peace of mind, and whether they can then be like my dog, Mojo, and be able to shake off the adversity that they can't avoid. Because there are some real questions about the American attitude toward the American dream about home. And one of the things that I was told by some wise person in the industry when I started out and believed to be true is that anytime someone refers to, let's say it's a new home seeker, and they refer to the mortgage as the rent, you have to stop and wait a minute. You have to realize that home ownership and home rental are very, very different. If there's a leaking roof, if you're a renter, somebody else has to fix it. If you're a homeowner, you have to. So is investment in a home smart? Well, that's a complicated question. It has some yeses and nos depending on the situation. For instance, one thing that people say that passes up a lot examination is: should you tie yourself down to one particular investment, put all your eggs in that basket, particularly if that all your investment is in a particular geographical location? Is it smart for you to tie yourself up with a home that has to be taken care of no matter where you are? Or let's say you're trying to make your way up the corporate ladder in a corporation that has that's spread out over the country or over the world. Do you want to tie yourself up with ownership when renting probably makes more sense? For instance, I understand that the home ownership rate in Switzerland, they've got a lot of banks and so on. They're financial, a lot of people are very much involved in working for banks and so on, but that the home ownership rate in Switzerland is only about 35%. Why is that? And if the American dream is home ownership, how does that match up with the American reality? Well, for each one of us, that's a question we should be thinking about. So yeah, that's kind of the kind of thing that I might be talking about. Right now, we have the question of who should be on the hook for the aftermath of the collapse of the economy, the real estate sector of it in particular. Some estimates say that the middle class lost about $16 trillion in the economic collapse, and that a lot of that was their equity in real estate. Well, should they be the ones that have to suffer that, or should the banks that did a lot of the risky lending be on the hook too? Well, when you're talking about big five banks, the top five, I have real questions about whether they care about anything except their own bottom line, and they get bailed out, and the little guy doesn't. Well, that is something we should be thinking about. Do we want to go along with that? In Richmond, California, they're talking about using eminent domain to help the people that suffered the losses. In Richmond, they are talking about using eminent domain to force big banks to stop foreclosing on people's homes and to offer them principal reduction. If the amount of the loan is remaining balance is $400,000 and the property won't sell for more than $300,000, who should be on the hook for that? Is it just the person that took out the loan, or should be the person that made it to him, the one that's serving it? Should there be real encouragement to reduce the principal, or should it be possible for the city, in this case Richmond, to step in and acquire that property by eminent domain and seizing those homes when whole neighborhoods, whole sections of the city are being foreclosed, having been foreclosed on? There are all these deteriorated unoccupied homes. Should the local government be able to step in and do something about that? Well, the city officials in Richmond are sending letters to banks and mortgage owners offering to buy some 600 underwater mortgages at the prices the homes are worth now, not on what the owners owe, and as a result stepping in to help people that little guys that were harmed by the downturn. Is that a good idea, or is that a mirage? Well, it's certainly worth talking about. It's certainly worth knowing about, because if it starts working in Richmond, it's going to pop up in other communities as well. And of course, the the real estate investors are not going to just sit still and take that. So it's going to get to the courts and get appealed. And if eminent domain is a way to help keep families in their homes, even if that doesn't happen that way, maybe it'll be the kind of pressure that will make loan modification speed up, and the banks will start to think, hey, we better do something for the borrowers, not just to them, or we could find ourselves in deepest yogurt, particularly in Richmond, California. So we'll see how that goes. Does that seem like something that you would like to hear more about? If so, all right, so, yes, I hear you. Okay, yes. And little kids too, okay. Yeah, all right, well, okay, thank you. Well, I will definitely then put that on the agenda to talk more about later. And I know that some of you have your own views on it. Okay, yes, I said I will. Yes. All right, so thank you. So there may be people out there that would like to weigh in and get in on the conversation here. As I say, I'm not going to be talking by myself all the time. I'm doing it this time simply to hear myself talk, and so I can, assess what I need to do to build this program and make it more successful. Okay, so one of the things I want to suggest to you, though, is that don't be just a passive listener, be an active listener. And to experience that, what that means, I mean, active listening, if we were here, would be you're leaning forward to listen to me talk to you, and my noticing when you were talking and actively listening, yes, while you were talking. And so you can practice doing that now since this is internet radio, by leaning forward toward your computer, okay? Yeah, and I can't tell whether you're really doing that. I'd like to encourage you. I'd like to say good job if you are, and I'll assume you are, so good job. You're on the honor system, that you're leaning forward, and but I can't actually see you do that unless we Skype. Now that's the thing, that we can take this barrier down by Skyping on this program. We're going to see about that, so I can actually see if you're leaning forward, and you can see whether I'm leaning forward as well. Active listening. I'm looking forward so much to encourage one another to listen actively to one another, and to talk in such a way that people have a reason to lean forward and listen, and not simply to be polite or to just turn away, get up, walk away. And I don't know if anybody has been walking away as they listened to this, because I don't know if anybody was listening to it in the first place. But as I said, radio experience, and to some extent, it really doesn't matter whether anybody else is listening, because all we have is our own experience. Isn't that true? So if I have the experience of satisfaction at doing this, I'm likely to do it whether anyone is listening at all, in any case. So it's been fun, and have a good afternoon, and see you soon on Skype. Bye now. Scott Kersnar signing off. Thank you so much. Thank you. Talk to you later. Okay, yes, thank you. Very, very much.